You're listening to Faith in Action. I'm your host, Matthew Nowlin.
And I'm Shawn Graham.
We lead Conservative Christians of Tennessee, and we are thankful you're listening to this show. Conservative Christians of Tennessee exists to analyze political policy and politicians in Tennessee and offer a conservative Christian worldview. To support us in our educational efforts, our public policy analysis, and any other needed endeavors, you can give a one-time or a recurring gift at patreon.com/TN Christian. Now, we want to glorify God. That's what this is all about. And we want to do that by helping you to glorify God. Please do not hesitate to send us any questions or comments through email. You can reach me directly by emailing matthew@tnchristian.com.
Or Shawn, SHAWN, @tnchristian.com.
And today's show is brought to you in the Memphis area by Herbi-Systems. Give Herbi-Systems a call at 901-290-7774 for all your lawn care needs since 1984. Herbi-Systems has been the premier lawn care and landscape company in the Mid-South, so give Herbi-Systems a call. Again, that's 901-290-7774. Do it today, or visit herbisystems.com and let them kill your weeds. Our scripture for today comes from Jeremiah chapter 9, verses 23 through 24. Thus saith the Lord, let not the wise man glory in his wisdom, neither let the mighty man glory in his might, nor let the rich man glory in his riches, but let him that glorieth glory in this, that he understandeth and knoweth me, that I am the Lord, which exercises loving kindness, judgment, and righteousness in the earth. For in these things I delight, saith the Lord. Before we get to our interview with William Wolfe, I want to talk to you about an issue that has greatly troubled me broadly over the last couple of years, and as of last week, very specifically. I want to let you know that Shawn and I, Conservative Christians of Tennessee, are all proponents of church discipline, and we believe that church discipline should start with disciplined discipleship and purposeful fellowship of and with believers. Last fall, we interviewed Daniel Keene after he was really just horribly abused by his church near Dallas when he spoke out about the effects of unchecked immigration, and he was then kicked out of that church. And I expounded on what I call Steamboat Willie church discipline, and it reminds me, that Steamboat Willie church discipline, of a riverboat captain. And this guy is conspicuously absent from his kids' lives, except at the holidays. You know, he's home at the 4th of July, Christmas, and Easter, during which he discovers at that time that he doesn't like the behavior of the kids that he sired, but these kids that he doesn't know. And then he brings out the switch to really tear into them. Last week, the Rio Grande Presbytery of the Presbyterian Church in America indefinitely suspended Pastor Zachary Garris. I'm familiar with the charges against him. Shawn's familiar with the charges against him. We both find them baseless. I'm confident that this ecclesial warfare against a godly man will be overturned. Pastor Garris has been a positive influence in my life through his books, Honor Thy Fathers and Masculine Christianity. I'd encourage you to read both of these books. Don't just read them yourself. Buy like 5 copies and give them out to other men, give them out to your sons and your grandsons. Again, the first book is Honor Thy Fathers, Recover the Anti-Feminist Theology of the Reformers. You can buy that book at newchristendompress.com. The second book is Masculine Christianity, and you can buy Masculine Christianity almost anywhere that books are sold. That's all I'm going to say now, except to ask you to pray. I'd ask you to pray to God that he would restore healthy church discipline to his church, and that you would please pray for Pastor Garris. Our guest today is William Wolfe. He is the founder and executive director of the Center for Baptist Leadership. After spending a decade living and working in Washington, D.C., including for 3 members of Congress, he went and got his Master's of Divinity and Master's of Theology from the Southern Baptist Theological Seminary. He and his wife are members of an SBC church in the Charlotte area, where they are proud parents of a new baby boy, which brings them to 4 boys in the Wolf Pack. And congratulations on that, William, and welcome back to Faith in Action.
Great to be back here with you guys.
It's always fun to talk to you this time of year. We know when the summer kicks in, it's time to talk to William, because we're about to head to the SBC.
That's right. It's coming up fast.
Yeah. We have a lot to talk about regarding the Baptists and the upcoming Southern Baptist Convention. But first, I want to make sure that we talk about what it is that you do at the Center for Baptist Leadership. We want to talk about what that is, what it does, and where listeners can read or listening to the information that you guys put out the best information really on church governance, on what's going on. You guys do the best analyses. And a lot of our listeners, even if they're not Southern Baptists, they could take the analysis of the Southern Baptist Convention that you guys do, and they could really bring it home to their own groups. Tell folks more about that.
Yeah, we started the Center for Baptist Leadership a little over 2 years ago with a simple mission to cultivate courageous and uncompromising Baptist leadership for the 21st century. And we are pursuing that mission on a threefold line of seeking to revitalize the Southern Baptist Convention from within, addressing the issues that are plaguing us, that are hurting our missional and evangelistic cooperation, doctrinal compromises, organizational and institutional malpractice that's causing a massive bleed across the Southern Baptist Convention right now as thousands of churches are losing trust in what we are doing together. And so revitalize the Southern Baptist Convention from within, defend it from those who seek its destruction, which is a very real thing. And they want to see that uprooted so they can shift evangelicals to the left. And then finally, we say serving as a better Baptist voice in the public square. We seek to represent conservative Baptists, Southern Baptists or not. There are many conservative Baptists who aren't in the SBC on issues of political and cultural significance, not only to try to speak for those Baptists who don't feel like they have a voice, but also to help them navigate the current cultural and political times we are in. So that's what we're doing. And you can find us online at centerforbaptistleadership.org. You can find us on YouTube and subscribe to us there. Please do that. Center for Baptist Leadership. Follow us on X at Baptist Leader. Sign up for our newsletter. Connect with us on Facebook. We've been more active on Facebook as well. Again, Center for Baptist Leadership on Facebook. So Facebook, YouTube, all your podcast platforms, our website, X, etc. Find us, follow us. I think you will find what we produce to be relevant to you if you're an evangelical Christian in America, particularly relevant if you're a Southern Baptist. But if you're just somebody dealing with institutional issues and battles, which many people are, regardless of what denomination or institution you're in, I think a lot of what we do will be applicable to you as well.
Yeah. And just as an aside, man, your X account's way bigger than mine, but we both deal with the throttling. We both speak to a lot of issues. Tell our listeners where they can follow you on X personally, like your personal account as well.
Oh, yeah. My personal account is just at William Wolfe. Yeah. And one of these days, X will maybe let me out of the
likely story. I don't believe that's going to happen, guys.
Yeah, Shawn sent me a list of words that I cannot use that are in the King James Bible recently if I want to get back in good. So we interviewed Willie Rice last month, Dr. Rice. And for listeners who are catching this episode and want to go back and listen to that, you can go to botradionetwork.com or listen to it on tnchristian.com. You're backing Dr. Rice, William. And man, I got to say that in the interview, he was just impressive. There are people that command the room, and he seemed to me to be one of those guys. So he has a mastery of the issues. He really understands the needs of the SBC, and he wants to push the denomination towards soul winning and discipleship. And it didn't seem like just jingoism when he said it. I mean, he talked about it, and it caused a burning in my bosom, to quote the Mormons. But from all the feedback we're hearing, we think he's going to be the next president of the Southern Baptist Convention. Shawn and I do. Are you hearing that same buzz? I mean, what's actually going on the ground?
Yeah, I think Willie is a very exciting candidate for many in the Southern Baptist Convention, particularly the crowd that feels like over the last 10 years or knows. We're not talking really about feelings. We're talking about facts. For the people who know that the Southern Baptists have been intentionally led. It wasn't a liberal drift. It was a liberal shift. We were steered away from our biblical commitments, away from our statement of faith, away from Christian anthropology on issues related to race and gender and justice. So those people who feel like the forgotten man in the Southern Baptist Convention life has been forgotten for far too long, Willie Rice is a very exciting candidate. He very publicly sort of switched sides, going from somebody who was much more of a platform man to what we could call sort of a conservative, small r reformer, not reform theology, but reform in pertaining to the Southern Baptist Convention as an institution. And Willie is willing to take on the fights that matter, but fundamentally for the right reasons, which is to resolve them in a healthy and biblical fashion and get us back to focusing on spreading the gospel. I mean, people complain all the time about all the infighting in the Southern Baptist Convention for the last 10 years. And I will just again remind everybody that the infighting, the blame for the infighting rests at the feet of the people who brought in divisive and unbiblical ideologies and worldviews and theologies and practices into the SBC, and the rest of us who have stood our ground and said, no, not in this house, no, not in God's house, no, go be Methodist somewhere else, are the ones who are trying to actually purify things and get us back to a Great Commission and gospel focus. So I think Willie really kind of combines those things together well. He is, guys, when we think about institutional change, we think about even somebody like Donald Trump. Donald Trump was an elite. He was an elite, absolutely an elite, a New York billionaire playboy, but he emphasized with the concerns of the populist grassroots and channeled those concerns as sort of a pincer movement, an elite leader combined with the populist concerns to yield a victory. I see Willie doing a sort of similar thing. Willie is an SBC elite. There's no way around it. He's not a man who came outside the system. He came up in the system. Then he realized the system was kind of broken, and now he wants to help change the system for the better. So it's sort of that perfect combination I think you always need when you're trying to secure institutional reform and revival. So very excited about Willie. And I do actually feel, guys, I know we kind of say this every year, it's our year, but I really think it's our year this year.
All right. That's great.
I mean, it has to be your year this year. This quality of candidate, the momentum, the endorsements that he's got, the fact that he has actually said he feels called by the Lord to do this, and he has campaigned. So, man, I'm praying for you guys, because if not this year, then when? Well, folks, Navita IT Managed Services is much more than a help desk. They're more than a network administrator. Navita has decades of business consulting and analytics experience. Navita IT Managed Services works to keep your business or your church growing as a healthy part of God's kingdom. Again, they help both churches and businesses steward their resources to become the best business leaders possible. Visit NavitaIT.com today to learn more about Navita IT Managed Solutions. And we are excited to have a Christian-owned business like Navita on board with us this year. They are aligned, and we love them, and we know you will love using them at Navita for all your IT solutions. And folks, we're back talking about the SBC annual meeting, the Southern Baptist Convention, the C in the convention with William Wolfe. So, William, there's about to be tens of thousands of Baptists in Orlando next week. Shawn calls this the Super Bowl week for denominations. For people who've never been to a convention like this, describe it for them. Is this like a summer camp or like a church service, or is it more like a business meeting? Or is it a little bit of everything?
I thought Pastor Michael Clary had a really good analysis of what the Southern Baptist Convention annual meeting has become coming out of Dallas last year, where he said it's just one big marketing session for the cooperative program, which is the heart of the SBC. It's the pool of money that funds everything that we do that churches get to, and it gets divvied up amongst our entities. And it's like the cooperative program is a product, and it's being sold at the annual meeting. And when products are being sold, you are not quite as inclined to be as honest as you should be about issues with products, et cetera. And so I think he's right. The Southern Baptist Convention annual meeting should be a business meeting, but it's really devolved into sort of just a massive celebration and product sort of salesman presentation agenda. Of course, wonderful things happen there. We commission missionaries, praise God for that mission, and we celebrate lots of other good things that we do, but we don't have nearly enough time for business as we should, and we don't take it as seriously as we should. And so it is kind of a little bit of a circus. You get this massive vendor hall with all these different organizations there pitching their tents and their booths, and then there is quite nothing like it in the world, though, because when you go into where the business sessions are actually happening, this massive convention hall, and there's thousands and thousands of people gathered together. I mean, it is the largest sort of democratic religious body in the world. It's not even close. It's one of the largest democratic bodies in the world, period, when it's gathered, way dwarfing Congress. We're talking about 10,000 plus people voting. So it's electric. It can be goofy. It can be beautiful. And I hope this year that we do focus a little bit more on the business that needs to get done.
Yeah. And that's what I wish we had as the mindset coming into it, that this is a business meeting. And y'all, if we want to extend time and do business, these are the 2 days of the year that we actually get to do this business together as Baptists. So this is the time. Disney will still be there. Lunch will still be there. Whatever your priorities are after the convention, those things still exist. But right now, during the meeting, we've got to focus on what matters, and that's conducting the business of our denomination.
You guys ought to have no problem keeping everybody in that convention hall, because why would a bunch of Southern Baptists go to sodomite-loving Disney World or Disneyland or whatever it is? I mean, was that a brilliant trick to keep Christians in the convention center?
I don't think so. I mean, we lifted our boycott on Disney quite a few years back at this point.
Yeah.
No, I mean, there will be a lot of trips to the parks and people will want to get out of there and go have fun with their families, but, one of the things Willie's noted, and I'll just flog again for listeners on this show, is that this is the last time in like a decade that the SBC annual meeting is going to be in the deep South, like the Southeast. Right. We'll be in Texas, we'll be in Indianapolis, but like this is like the South. So this is kind of like a ride or die moment for us. And I've been saying sort of Orlando or bust for the conservative reformers in the SBC.
Can they change that with new leadership?
Yeah, I believe they certainly could. Yes, that's going to be something we'll address, I think, and talk about at the meeting.
Good.
The convention, every year we push the conversation on American Christianity, and it's shown in the news and everybody wants to talk about it. There's always statements and there's always these resolutions and there are always these decisions that the news tries to cover, but they're just not up on our Baptist polity. What do you think the news headlines are going to be coming out of Orlando next week?
Well, I think the headlines will be more conservative president elected. I think whoever writes on this will pick up that Willie's a little bit different than even Clint Presley. Clint's been okay. Clint helped stop the bleeding. He's not been pushing the ball backwards or pushing it forwards, whichever way you want to consider it. So I think hard-charging conservative candidate wins. Southern Baptists debate another resolution trying to stop women from serving as pastors. That'll obviously be a headline. They love to discuss that. Mm-hmm. The resolutions were released today. I don't see anything that's super like headline grabby here. So I think that like the resolutions, like we had a pretty strong one against homosexuality. I think that was last year maybe. So that was kind of maybe attention grabbing, but the ones this year seem pretty par for the course. So I think it'll really be Willie wins, and what happens with now our like fifth convention in a row where we're debating on some amendment resolution about ending this debate about women pastors.
Yeah. Listeners, it's always been our privilege to remind you about the mission of equipping the persecuted. This is a group that's been on the ground for many years doing the Lord's work to save our fellow Christian believers and rescue orphans, because the persecuted Christians in Nigeria, they have it terrible. They need food, they need clothing, shelter, medical care, and help building a safer way of life. And if you give a monthly donation, that's going to create sustainable help for real Christians that have been attacked by brutal Muslim jihadists. Please visit equippingthepersecuted.org today, and you can sponsor an orphan in Nigeria through Equipping the Persecuted for only $35 a month. You can also order African coffee and have it shipped straight to your home. And every bag of Equipping the Persecuted coffee that you purchase is going to do more than just fill up that coffee cup in your hand. It's going to strengthen the body of Christ in Nigeria, because 100% of those proceeds are going to go directly to support those persecuted Christians in Nigeria. And they have great flavors today. You can try. You can go online right now. Again, that's equippingthepersecuted.org. And we know that the persecuted Christians in Nigeria thank you. And on that note, we're back again with William Wolfe. We're talking about the Southern Baptist Convention, the annual meeting of the Southern Baptists. William, we've seen a conservative resurgence in our lives. We've lived through the blessings and the benefits that effort has given to everyone in the Southern Baptist Convention. And that really there's been an overflow of that blessing that's come out and blessed the American church and America. Adrian Rogers and others worked hard to keep the Southern Baptist Convention focused on biblical teaching. That's still blessing Southern Baptists today. Are we seeing a resurgence again right now? And if so, will the resurgence be able to clean up issues in the seminaries?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. I think if we can manage to elect Willie Rice, we can confidently say that it has just begun and that we have actually just begun to fight. Because the way it works is the clock doesn't really start until you get that first conservative president elected, and then the clock starts. What we have really suffered through, and actually posted about this today on X, has been a very intentional and planned, not accidental, undoing of the conservative resurgence by a committed cabal of leftists to varying degrees, liberals to varying degrees, conservatives on papers, but bleeding heart in practice, guys like Russell Moore, J.D. Greer, Southeastern Baptist Theological Seminary, the infiltration and influence of Rachel Den Hollander, the push of critical race theory, and professors like Jarvis Williams saying that he wishes every Christian could read more critical race theory, and Matthew Hall, the former provost at the Southern Baptist Theological Seminary, saying he's going to be a racist until the day he dies, according to critical race theory standards. And so critical, lots of ridiculous immigration amnesty pushes and climate change nonsense, just, over and over again over the last 10 years, as people have been trying to undo the legacy of the conservative resurgence, trying to tear down the statues and defame heroes like men like Paige Patterson, tar and feather them and run them out of the collective consciousness of the Southern Baptist Convention, chip away at Al Mohler's influence. And of course, people have some legitimate critiques of Dr. Mohler himself. But J.D. Greer was really at the center of this, what I call liberal resurgence or liberal subversion. It's been a very intentional play run on the SBC. They used crisis points to leverage to grab power, like the so-called abuse crisis. And it's just taken people a while to wake up to the fact that this was intentional, this was done, and how do we undo it? So this is a culmination of everything at CBL in particular we've been working for the last 2 years. Everything is teed up. Willie Rice is the man. And if he wins, that's the new Baptist leadership that we say we need.
Yeah.
Amen.
Like you said, you've been working on this for 2 years. I remember when you started the Center for Baptist Leadership. And man, I wish people understood the sacrifice that you've made traveling. I mean, you've never said anything like this to me, but I look at you and I see a man who's given up a lot of. I feel like you've left money on the table. You got a lot of things you could do, man, and you have been sacrificing personally for the sake of the Southern Baptist Convention, for the sake of Christ's church. So I want to compliment you on that, brother, and I want you to know that there are other people that see that and that pray for you. But so you work hard to help promote these issues and get messengers to the meetings. For church members in the pew who want to continue to stay informed with what's going on in the Southern Baptist Convention and to critically pray for what is happening at the convention June 7th through the 10th, how can they stay informed on this?
Well, I think one of the best ways to do it is to follow Baptist Leaders on X. That's where we will be posting most of our updates throughout it. It's the easiest platform to use, quite frankly. And so that's at Baptist Leaders on X, literally at Baptist Leaders. We'll try to make sure to cross post on Facebook as well. So X and Facebook for sort of like what's happening at the convention right now, because we'll be live posting through all of it, keeping people informed and updated. And then we'll try to do some like video analysis and podcast updates or maybe some live streams as we go throughout the convention. They can also, check out the official news organ of the Southern Baptist Convention, Baptist Press. They'll always have their own little spin and slant on things, of course, but Baptist Press would be a good one. Other people's, John Whitehead, Josh Abatoy, American Reformer, like those are other good accounts to follow for SBC related stuff. But yeah. I got to say probably me and Center for Baptist Leadership on X is the best way to do it.
Yeah, man, I just want to read some of the stuff off the Center for Baptist Leaders account because some of it's encouraging, some of it's sobering. You guys retweeted Alan Patrick, just pre-registered 5 messages from our church for the SBC annual meeting, booked 2 hotel rooms for 2 couples, 380 total for 2 rooms, 2 nights, 8 minutes from the convention center. Our church budget is less than $130,000. I promise you can afford to go to the annual meeting. The next thing, your article, Orlando or bust. Brothers, you can make it to the SBC leader. And then Virgil Walker, you guys shared something he wrote. Sarah Fisher becomes first openly lesbian Episcopal bishop in the Southern U.S. Man, you guys get it. Like, apparently you can connect 2 dots and draw a line through it where it's going. Your comment was, this will be the future of the Southern Baptist Convention if we don't stop it. So you guys are hitting stuff. You got the short form content on X at Baptist Leaders. You got the long form stuff with your podcasts and with your articles on Center for Baptist Leadership.org. What do we need to know as we go out, William? Because, man, you've chocked us full of info.
I think just pray for success there. Pray that the Lord would be gracious and that really the conservatives would prevail, that the fundamentalists shall win, that we shall indeed, and that this could really be the start of renewal and revival of the Southern Baptist Convention in America, both as an unparalleled and unchecked engine for gospel good, planting churches, training pastors, reaching the lost, and winning souls to Jesus Christ. But also that we would step up and take our place in the culture, in the political sphere, in the public square, in America, as the largest Protestant denomination. Say America belongs to Christ. Our laws and our customs should reflect that. Christianity is an integral part of who we are in America and part of our national renewal. And we're not going to sit on the sidelines and cede our nation to secularists and paganists and, frankly, Satanists anymore. So those twin pillars of gospel renewal and cultural and political renewal, the SBC could be an engine of so much change if the right people are in charge. So pray that they would be.
Yeah, listeners, join us. Pray for the Southern Baptists as they approach their convention. And that's going to do it for another episode of Faith in Action. As always, we want to thank you for stopping by each week to stay informed with us on these issues as they relate to our churches, our families, our state, and our country. And remember that on tnchristian.com, we have links to past shows. And if you want to support our work, be sure to visit patreon.com/tnchristian. But until next week, remember, whether we're talking about the State House in Nashville, your church at home, or the Southern Baptist Convention in Orlando, across all of creation, our favorite promise from the 15th chapter of the book of Exodus, the Lord shall reign forever and ever.